We're talking about something called PromptSpy, and it's a whole new kind of threat, one that's powered by the same kind of generative AI that's popping up everywhere.
So just start with this idea for a second. What if malware wasn't just some dumb, rigid script? What if it could actually see your screen, understand what it's looking at, and then make decisions all on its own? It sounds like something out of a movie, but it's the reality we're unpacking right now.
You know, for a while now, we've thought of AI as this amazing tool for good. But attackers? They're starting to flip the script. They're giving AI a brand new malicious job. And it's giving us a pretty chilling glimpse into what the future of cyber threats is going to look like.
And that brings us to PromptSpy. Security researchers are calling this the very first piece of Android malware that's known to actively use a generative AI to change its attack on the fly. This isn't just some minor upgrade, you guys. This is a full-on evolution.
So, what does this thing actually do? Well, it's not just sitting in the background stealing data. No. Once it gets on your phone, it basically becomes a remote operator. It literally gives an attacker direct hands-on control over your device.
The core of its power comes from a technology called VNC, which stands for Virtual Network Computing. All you need to know is that this gives an attacker total remote control of your phone. They're not just seeing your files, they're seeing your screen in real time. They can perform taps and swipes just as if they were holding your phone right in their hands.
And yeah, remote control is just where it starts. This malware is a complete spying toolkit. It can snatch your PINs and passwords, record everything you do on screen, and get this, it even actively fights back if you try to get rid of it.
To put it as simply as possible, PromptSpy isn't just stealing bits of data in the background. It is virtually putting a hacker's hands directly on your phone, giving them complete and total control from anywhere on the planet.
But here's the part that's a real game changer. It's the brain. The AI is what truly sets PromptSpy apart from, well, pretty much anything we've ever seen before.
Just think about how traditional malware works, right? It relies on these stiff, hard-coded scripts. If an app got an update that changed the layout, poof, the malware would often just break. PromptSpy is completely different. It doesn't follow a fixed script. It uses AI to understand what it's seeing on the screen. That makes it incredibly adaptable, so it can work across tons of different phones, apps, and OS versions.
And this all works in this constant, sneaky little loop. First, the malware takes a snapshot of your screen's layout, all the buttons, the text, everything. Then it zips that layout over to the AI with a question, a goal. The AI looks at the screen and sends back super precise instructions on what to tap or swipe. And then the malware just executes those commands right there on your phone.
And this is basically the kind of prompt the malware is sending. It's literally telling the AI, hey, you're an assistant. Your job right now is to figure out how to lock this app so the user can't close it. The AI then looks at the screen layout and figures out the exact sequence of taps needed to make that happen on your specific phone. It's wild.
The end result of all this AI-powered cleverness is something called persistence. It's what allows the malware to just keep running in the background, making it incredibly hard for a regular person or even the phone's own system to shut it down.
Okay, so this thing is clearly very powerful. But, of course, none of that matters if it can't get on your phone in the first place. So let's walk through how an infection actually goes down. It all starts with a bit of good old-fashioned social engineering. A person gets tricked into downloading what looks like a banking app from a website, and this is key, not from the official Google Play Store. Then, the fake app says it needs an update. Well, that update is the real malware. And the final, most crucial step? It asks for something called accessibility service permissions. The whole trick, the whole thing hinges on deception. It uses a familiar-looking icon and a name that sounds believable, in this case Morgan Arg, all to build just enough trust to lure the victim into installing it. And that accessibility service permission, that is the absolute key to the kingdom. See, it's a really powerful Android feature that's meant to help users with disabilities by letting apps read the screen and perform actions for them. But when malware gets a hold of it, it's game over. Once a user taps allow on that permission, the trap is sprung, and the attackers are in control.
So this story is about way more than just one piece of malware. It's really about the blueprint it's creating for future attacks, and more importantly, what on earth we can do to protect ourselves. Now, while PromptSpy itself might not be super widespread just yet, what it represents is a seriously dangerous proof of concept. It's like a public demo for every cybercriminal out there on how to build smarter, more resilient malware that can outthink our traditional defenses. So who's behind all this?
Well, the digital forensics paint a pretty interesting global picture. The app itself targets Spanish-speaking banking customers in Argentina, but technical notes left deep inside the code are actually in Chinese. This points to a complex international operation that's clearly focused on stealing money.
And just as another example of how devious this thing is, it actively defends itself. If you go into your settings and try to remove it, it actually puts an invisible layer right on top of the uninstall button. You can sit there and tap all you want, but your phone just won't register the press.
So how in the world do you fight back? You have to reboot your phone into safe mode. What this does is it loads the basic operating system without any of the third-party apps, including the malware. From there, you can finally go into your settings and uninstall that fake app without it being able to interfere.
And this really brings us full circle. PromptSpy uses AI for one relatively simple task. But as these AI models get dramatically more powerful and easier for anyone to access, it really forces us to ask the tough question. Are our defenses, and are we as users, truly ready for what's coming next?